them the voice now. Wait them the voice, the acting voice. Wait them now. even a few times. How do you get a link?
News.event.eu.
News.event.eu. Okay.
That's the site. Once you go there, you can get up on that.
Okay.
That's our site. You should visit our site.
matters in the year Odiabo. The procession comprises of the Provost, College of Medical Sciences, Dean of the Postgraduate School, the Dean of Students, Deans of Faculties, Directors of Academic Programs and Institutes, the Inaugural Lecturer, Principal Officers of the University, of course the Vice Chancellor, receiving the Vice Chancellor's procession. The Vice Chancellor, the distinguished Professor Salami, represented here today by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Catherine Moma, other principal officers of the university, provost, deans, directors, professors emeriti, other professors and scholars here present, top government functionaries, your Royal Highnesses, staff and students, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure this afternoon to welcome you to today's inaugural lecture This is the 293rd Inaugural Lecture Series of the University of Benin, to be delivered by Professor Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe, an experienced professor of psychiatry. He will be taking us this afternoon on what he has titled Kolomental and the Elephant in the Room, our mental health. May I now invite the Registrar of the University and Secretary to Council, Mr. Adebola, represented today by the Deputy Registrar in charge of Senate Matters, Mrs. Comfort Ehigato, to introduce the Vice Chancellor and members of the Vice Chancellor's procession.
I welcome you all to the 293rd Inaugural Lecture in the series of this great university. The Registrar of the University, Mr. Adebola, is away on an official assignment outside the university and has requested me to stand in his stead. He sends his greetings to you all. I am Comfort Ehigato, the Deputy Registrar, Senate Matters. Permit me to stand. He is currently the chairperson of the Association of Committee of Vice Chancellors of all engineering universities. She is also the Vice President of the Association of African Universities. A member of Council of the Governing Board of Architect, JAM, and TechForm. She is the recipient of the President's, our very dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami, represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Mrs. Professor Catherine Coleman. Other principal officers, provost, deans, and directors in our procession are as follows: Professor B.A. Anide, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Kema. Dr. D.E.H. is representing the BOSA. Professor Luke Obasi, University Librarian. The Provost, College Medical Sciences, is represented here by Professor Mrs. Vivian Mwemo. Professor S.A. Aliyu is the acting dean School of Postgraduate Studies. The Dean of Students is represented here by Dr. Imari Agli. Our host dean for today is Professor Usarugiato. The Dean, Faculty of Agric, is represented by Dr. Eva Biame. The Dean, Faculty of Arts, Professor Yuka. The Dean, School of Dentistry, Professor Omoridi. The Dean, Faculty of Education, Professor Omoro Yuwa. The Dean, Faculty of Engineering, Professor Ogujo. The Dean, Faculty of Environmental Sciences, is represented by Dr. Ogodu. The Dean, Faculty of Law, is represented by Professor Bright Bazwani. The Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Owe. The Dean, School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Aboreyu. The Dean, Faculty of Pharmacy, is represented by Dr. Arawa. Dean, Faculty of Physical Sciences, is represented by Professor Usahun. Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, is represented by Dr. Akhigbe. The Director, National Center for Energy and Environment, Professor Inaugural. Director, Distance Learning Program, Professor Akhigbe. Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Development, Professor Kingsley. Director, Center for Educational Technology, Professor Oalei Akhigbe. Director, Intellectual Property and Technology Transfer, Professor Kingsley. Director, Techfund, Center of Excellence, Professor Ijoma Obu. Director, Quality Assurance, Professor Akhigbe. Director, Advanced Digital Engineering Center, Professor Akhigbe. Dr. Mrs. Yamu. Acting Director, IPAES, Dr. Gato. Today's Vice Chancellor's Procession is led by Assistant Registrar in the Senate Matters, Mrs. Eniye Odia. I now invite the Vice Chancellor to introduce the inaugural lecture for today.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Great Uniben students. Greatest Uniben students. Great Uniben students. Please permit me to stand on the already established existing protocol. I bring you very warm greetings from our Vice Chancellor, Professor Kingsley, the Chairman of the Committee of Vice Chancellors of all Nigerian universities, and the Vice President of the Association of African Universities. She's unavoidably absent due to the exigencies of her duties, but she really would have loved to be here, except for these duties. So there's a speech from her. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 293rd in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. Today's lecture is the 66th to be delivered in my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of this university. This is the fourth from the Department of Mental Health and the third by a psychiatrist. It is also the 59th from the School of Medicine. I'm pleased to inform you that the university has continued to be recognized as one of the top universities in Nigeria and indeed the whole of Africa, judging by the recently released ranking of the world universities by Times Higher Education. With the cooperation of all stakeholders, this university will remain the best. Also, by next Wednesday, an international accreditation team from the United Kingdom will be visiting the university in the final stage of accreditation. We have worked hard to meet the European standards set out by the accreditation agency. When accredited, the University of Benin will be the first university in Nigeria to have earned such international accreditation. All the benefits that go with the recognition both to the university and its products. Students have resumed for the first semester of the 2022-2023 academic session, and lectures have started in earnest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. He is Professor Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe. The title of his lecture is Kolomental and the Elephant in the Room, Our Mental Health. It sounds very interesting. Professor Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe was born on the 6th July 1956 to the family of Mr. Alfred Ojubanire Akhigbe and Mr. Irenyi Akhigbe at Advocacy, Ludeha, Owan West Local Government Area of Edo State. He attended local authority primary school, now Omende Primary School, Advocacy, from 1961 to 1966. He had his secondary education at St. Patrick's Grammar School, Orita, Basharu, Ibadan, where he obtained his West African School certificate in June 1973. He worked briefly at the Federal Department of Forest Research and the then Standard Bank of Nigeria, now First Bank of Nigeria in Ibadan. He thereafter gained admission to the University of Benin City to study medicine and graduated with an MBBS degree in July 1982. While an undergraduate at the University of Benin, he published the first inter-campus newspaper, the Campus Mirror, which covered various landmark events such as the Nigerian University Games and the conferences of various student associations. He began his medical practice as a house officer with the military hospital Benin City between 1983 to 1984. He did the mandatory National Youth Service with the Department of Mental Health, University of Benin, from 1984 to 1985, and thereafter joined the services of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, where he had his postgraduate residency from 1986 to 1994. In 1989, after passing the Part 1 examination of the National Postgraduate Medical College and the West African College of Physicians, he started delivering lectures and providing clinical training for students in mental health. He joined the services of the University of Benin in September 1994 as lecturer 2 and rose through the ranks to the position of professor in 2015. He has held several academic and administrative positions within and outside the university. Examples are lecturer in charge, Department of Mental Health, UNIBEN and UBTH, 2001 to 2003. Acting head, Department of Mental Health, UNIBEN and UBTH between 2007 to 2011. Head, Department of Mental Health, UNIBEN and UBTH between 2014 and 2018. Head, Occupational Head Department, UBTH 2009 to 2011. Examination and Timetable Officer, School of Medicine, 2014 to 2016. Chairman, Computer Utilization Committee, School of Medicine, 2002 to 2004. Member, University Medical Board, 2011 to 2016, and then 2023. Chairman, Medical Board Committee, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, 2014 to 2018. Member, Senior Staff Disciplinary Committee, UBTH, 2021 till date. Professor Akhigbe belongs to several professional bodies and associations, such as member, Nigerian Medical Association, fellow, West African College of Physicians, member, Medical and Dental Consultant Association of Nigeria, member, Association of Psychiatrists of Nigeria, member, International Society of Quality of Life Research, member, International Headache Society. has participated in several accreditation panels of the Nigerian University Commission and has supervised 5 dissertations for postgraduate fellowship examinations. He has attended several local and international conferences. Professor Akhigbe has been a persistent follower of Christ since his days as a student, and is still a key student and worships at the Church of God Mission International. He is happily married to Professor Mrs. Adenike Akhigbe, Professor of Radiology and a blessed imaging specialist. They are blessed with children and grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite Professor Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe.
Thank you very much. DVC administration. I think it is safer to stand on existing protocol already established by the university PRO. It is safer for me. But I wish to begin by thanking the Vice Chancellor for giving me this opportunity to deliver my inaugural lecture, which is the 293rd in the university's inaugural lecture series. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 4th inaugural lecture from the Department of Mental Health, and the 3rd by a psychiatrist. I recall that in 1981, I was a final year medical student, and I listened to the first inaugural lecture from the Department of Mental Health, given by Professor Kingsley who asked the rhetorical question, why should Nigeria bother about psychiatrists? 4 months later, this was followed by Professor Akhigbe, whose lecture was titled The Thinking of Nigerians and Other Black Races. 40 years after these pioneers, I stand here to build on these 2 first lectures. Nigeria should prioritize psychiatrists to address the growing mental health crisis, reduce stigma, improve workplace productivity, address social vices such as suicide and substance abuse, and align with global health priorities. Today, young Nigerians are questioning institutional structures and cultural beliefs. They are wondering, what is wrong with the black man and what is wrong with the Nigerian? Beliefs, and these are due to the corruption and ineffective leadership. And when they view these obstacles to growth, fairness, and equitable opportunity, it is obvious that they are disenchanted. You and I know the state of the nation that we are in today. I have titled my inaugural lecture, Kolomental and the Elephant in the Room, our mental health. I do appreciate the fact that this lecture is not so much about myself, for therapists are not often in the habit of talking much about themselves. I would like for us to proceed with the topic for the day's discussion. In this lecture, I'd like for us to increase our knowledge and awareness of various mental health issues, enhance comprehension of mental health issues, including psychotic and non-psychotic illnesses, identify and address the hidden struggles of individuals who are battling with non-psychotic disorders. They know something is wrong, but no one wants to acknowledge that anything is wrong. And I'd like for us to promote open dialogue about mental health. Our journey through the fascinating terrain of mental health is about to begin. This lecture will investigate the concepts of Kolomental. Using the song Kolomental, we want to look at psychotically ill persons. And a poem, everybody don't Kolomental. We should also reveal the elephant in the room to address a very crucial issue in mental health. May I tell us that underneath the metaphor is an insightful look at the non-psychotic psychiatric illnesses that go unrecognized, undiagnosed, and untreated far too often in our culture. They are there, but we seldom want to say or to acknowledge that they are there. The goals are basically to combat stigma, increase understanding, and spread awareness regarding mental health issues, emphasizing the need for empathy and open dialogue surrounding our mental health. What is mental health? It's a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses and pressures of daily living, realize their abilities and potentials, learn well, work well, and contribute meaningfully to their community. Mental health is determined by a complex interplay of several factors: individual, societal, cultural, structural stresses, and a lot of vulnerabilities. What about mental disorders? Mental disorders affect our cognitive abilities, thinking, the way we feel, our mood, and then the way we carry on, behaving. And genetics, biology, the environment, and life experiences may all trigger mental health issues. We've probably heard about depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, substance use disorders. But these are mental disorders. May I remind us that mental disorders may affect everyone, regardless of age, gender, or background. So no one is exempt. But when we know what it is that will make us unease, then we would combat, we would be able to talk about such things and attend to our mental well-being. Mental health disorders are divided into two broad categories: psychotic disorders and non-psychotic disorders. Psychotic disorders are characterized by an impaired reality testing, relationship with reality, the difficulty in making a distinction between fantasy and reality. It is not unusual in the social media for us to have jokes emanating or reportedly emanating from facilities that are regarded as psychiatric hospitals or mental health facilities. But when we come, we need to let you know that the people who we attend on as mental health professionals, we treat them with respect and dignity, and we ensure confidentiality and privacy. But I'd like to tell us a story. There was a young man who was on admission in his early 30s. He had recently, just prior to being admitted, he had and in the course of receiving treatment, for he actually had a relapsed illness. And in the course of receiving treatment, we got to know the reason why he sent his wife packing. You like to hear the story? I know people like to hear stories. Yes. It happened that in the course of intense work in the other room, this lady began to scream, "Tear it! Tear it! Tear it!" And what? Tear what? Man in the neighborhood. That was it. Every explanation given by the wife to the contrary, to the effect that she was having a mountaintop experience which she couldn't contain, and she was actually praising and hailing the husband, fell on deaf ears. I'd like to inform us that in the course of treatment, this man began to see that, oh, so my wife was actually praising my prowess. And that was it. Now, in simple terms, interpreted what he heard, and he now held on so strongly to it as a belief that this was proof of infidelity, and we will call this a delusional perception. But when the delusion began to clear, and we will say in common parlance, sanity began to prevail, the marriage was restored. Some person may experience symptoms of both psychotic and non-psychotic disorders. And various symptoms like hallucinations, seeing, hearing, or feeling things that are not real, delusions, holding false beliefs that are not based in reality, abnormal motor behavior. This, we know about this. Mr. Lecturer who strips himself in the course of a lecture. He doesn't need, the students don't need to consult before they agree that Mr. Lecturer has gone in. Negative symptoms: reduced emotional expression, lack of motivation, difficulty experiencing pleasure. Now, these symptoms can be present in other mental health conditions. They do not necessarily indicate a psychotic disorder. It will be left to the experts to make a diagnosis. But why do we need to address mental health issues? They're highly prevalent worldwide. And despite this high prevalence of mental illnesses and disorders, there is still a significant stigma surrounding mental illness. When we begin to discuss mental health issues, we can help reduce the burden of the illness on individuals, on families, on communities, and society as a whole. So it is critical for us to discuss. Kolomental is a neologism that combines kolo and mental. Kolo is some Nigerian dialect and pidgin English that signifies crazy or mentally deranged. Mental, referring to the mind. So this is a slang term denoting mental instability and suffering. So it already implies there is illogical action, uncertainty, or emotional upheaval in the suffering. I'm using this term throughout the lecture to challenge mental health stigma. Madam Vice Chancellor, and my esteemed audience, may I conclude that Kolomental serves as a thought-provoking term that can help initiate discussions, raise awareness, and challenge prevailing attitudes towards mental health. Madam Vice Chancellor and my esteemed audience, I'd like for us to listen to a clip from Kolomental by Phase 2006. This was a musical composition by Face, a Nigerian song that was officially released in the year 2006. This song delves into various things pertaining to mental health, societal perceptions, and the colloquial expression commonly referred to as Kolomental. And ornamental case. Man, show your madness. Make you start to the display. Scatter your grades and the like. I'd like to read for us a poem, Everybody Don't Kolomental, by Tolu Akhigbe, written in 2021. Tolu Akhigbe graduated from University of Advocacy, but he resides presently in the UK. He's a multi-award winning writer and poet. And he gave me the permission to read this poem. Voices pitch high like clanging metals, colored faces scattered with uncooked drinks. We roamed bubbling streets under the burning heat. We roamed, fully clothed. We roamed and roamed in search of succor. Everybody don't Kolomental. Our suffering faces were scattered with glitters of hope. Tomorrow will be better. We hunger dreams on the frames of tomorrow. Everybody don't Kolomental. Everybody gets grace. Some minute, others overflowing like a running stream. Depression is an abominable word. Hush it. Ghost. Never give the devil a chance. Depression is another word for a roaming devil that invades your heart with pitch darkness. Everybody don't Kolomental. Our madness was hidden beneath colorful clothes. A little scuffle is all it takes to unravel the different layers. Tolu Akhigbe's poetry contemplates mental health, optimism, and compassion. The title of the poem, Everyone Has Gone Mad in Nigerian Pidgin English, creates an atmosphere for contemplating psychological issues among individuals. The poem challenges mental health stigma by stating that everybody don't Kolomental, meaning everyone experiences mental distress. A look at the headlines of today's newspapers will reveal as much of this lecture, because someone is attempted suicide at Lekki. The young woman with her child successfully committed double suicide somewhere in the north. And what do we need to add? Because as a nation, we're presently embroiled in the controversy of narcotics and narcotics dealings, certificate forgery, and such like. This is even we as a nation. Is it at the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly that we see sanity? This message reminds us that mental health issues can affect anyone regardless of age. It will take a little scuffle to reveal the different layers of ill health. This powerful poem, Everybody Don't Kolomental, explores mental health, resilience, and society. What type of definition do we therefore have? With Faye's song and Akhigbe's poetry, we have Kolomental used to identify someone with serious mental illness in an informal, colloquial, or culturally inspired manner. This description, however, does not match the clinical or medical definition of psychosis. Time will fail us to begin to go into the examples of psychosis, but basically we know the person who is mentally ill, who is severely mentally ill. The Yorubas will say, meaning that it's fun when we watch the crazy person in the market square. But when he is in any way related to you, it's a different ballgame. There is treatment for psychosis depending on its cause and severity. And the goal of treatment is usually to reduce symptoms, enhance quality of life, and treat underlying disorders. We use medicines, we use psychotherapy, but we also depend so strongly on social support from friends, family, and support groups. These are all crucial for healing. Madam Vice Chancellor, and my great audience, let's invite and let's take a look at the elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the room. This is a metaphor that is used to describe a significant issue that is obvious but ignored in social context. And non-psychotic mental problems are also common and noticeable. They tend to be widely recognized, similar to how people in a limited environment know about an elephant, but failure to recognize and treat these issues can have serious consequences for the individual concerned and the society. There is need for us to address the elephant in the room. When we break the silence, facing this uncomfortable truth, when acknowledging an obvious issue, we can recognize and treat such disorders. But it requires an open and candid discussion about mental health. And the concept of collective accountability states that acknowledging the presence of an elephant falls on the group as a whole, not just one individual. Look at this. Now, this man is, the elephant is writing its havoc, but this man is busy typing away on his computer. To these bystanders, it's like a show going on. And I don't know what the ladies said, but the sufferer is here, but the elephant has struck. That's the elephant in the room. I'd like to now talk about my contribution to unmasking the elephant in the room. Through my involvement in multiple studies conducted among university students, clinical populations, and the general community have made significant contributions to identifying and examining a prevalent but unacknowledged issue. Akhigbe's 2003 study amongst medical students revealed anxiety, depression, and stress-related disorders as common mental health issues. Procession and Akhigbe 2010 found a significant frequency of mental impairment among students of the university. In another study, Procession, Akhigbe, and Oalei 2011, we found that student difficulties negatively impact academic performance, emphasizing the need for efficient mental health care services and addressing these issues. Adayonfo and Akhigbe 2015, we investigated brain fog syndrome, a cultural syndrome common among African students involved in intellectual activities. We know, we can recall days when many of us took Coke or Coca-Cola or Cola Nut or some, even ephedrine, hydrochloride, and desamphetamine to keep awake. This is stimulant use. We found a 42.9% prevalence of brain fog syndrome. We also established a significant association between stimulant use and BFS. And the studies suggest that controlling stimulant use is crucial for preventing BFS. But today's Nigeria, it has become a hydra-headed issue. It is not unusual for around the university campuses for people to be hawking cakes and snacks, which are actually loaded with India ham and other stimulants. And that's a different matter entirely. Amongst commercial drivers who were there at Takwa and Akhigbe 2010 looked at the use of psychoactive substances. And we found that 61% of the drivers used these substances, the most common being Cola Nut, followed by local gin and cannabis. As a matter of fact, this has bitters have not entered the market then. Meth, ice, mirimiri, and all that. So many substances that acquire different names. And, well, you will need to become a science student to know more about such things. In another study aimed to determine the prevalence of psychiatric mobility among commercial vehicle drivers in the city, who were there, Otakwa and Akhigbe found that 33% of the drivers surveyed exhibited psychiatric mobility. Then there is a condition called postpartum psychosis, what the Yorubas call abisun. The person is just put to bed, the woman has just been delivered of a child, and some days later she is becoming moody, anxious, and in fact not eager to take care of her baby. In some instances, the matter progresses to a stage where infanticide takes place. The woman, perhaps thinking that, I want to safeguard the health of my child, decides to kill the child to save it from further trouble. The study was conducted by Biography and Akhigbe in 2008 in a tertiary hospital in Nigeria to investigate the prevalence and risk factors associated with postpartum depression. We found a 27.2% incidence of postpartum depression in the study population, and we identified preterm delivery as a significant risk factor for postpartum depression in that population. Amid close relationships with prominent dentists Akpata, Madukwe, Ozobwekwe, Omareke, Igameno, and Dr. Nabulele. And in collaboration with Dr. Kole, a clinical psychologist, we carried out several studies and interventions, including mental health assessments and treatment sessions for halitosis patients. Mental health is closely linked to oral health. About 50% of dental patients worry about their appointments, which can lead to dental anxiety. Depression or anxiety can worsen dental pain regardless of oral pathology. Akhigbe, Oalei Akhigbe, in 2008, investigated the levels of psychological distress and the personality characteristics of people who suffer from delusional halitosis. The study highlighted the importance of utilizing the variety of therapeutic modalities in the treatment process. And many patients benefited from our therapy. In another study, Oalei Akhigbe found that dental anxiety and oral health are significant psychological factors that affect the psychological distress experienced by student nurses in Nigeria. We also found a positive relationship between dental anxiety and dental fear, indicating a connection between oral health and overall well-being. Oalei Akhigbe in 2014 found that the modified dental anxiety scale had good psychometric properties in a study of 619 dental patients at the teaching hospital. And our results show that the prevalence of dental anxiety was 10.7%. We found this tool to be very useful for dental surgeons, clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists to objectively detect and manage high dental anxiety in Nigeria. What now is the impact of non-psychotic psychiatric illnesses on individuals, on families, and communities? On individuals, emotional distress, including intense anxiety, sadness, mood swings, or persistent irritability. These emotional states can affect their quality of life and daily functioning. Impaired functioning, social isolation, physical health gets hampered, sleep becomes impaired. People resort to the use of substances either to ameliorate their problems and eventually get addicted to such substances. On families, severe stress and strain, communication challenges. Family members may struggle to communicate effectively with their loved one, especially when symptoms lead to mood swings, social withdrawal, or emotional outbursts. Siblings get affected, and there is increased risk of this condition being perpetrated. The impact on communities can be enormous. Reduced productivity, mental health issues, when untreated, can lead to decreased productivity in the workplace. So you may have absenteeism as well as presenteeism. Your staff is at work, but he's not being productive. And all these will affect the overall economic health of the community. Communities that stigmatize mental health can discourage individuals from seeking help, and this will lead to a worsening of symptoms and greater social isolation. It is not unusual for a wife who is receiving treatment in a mental health facility to come around and say the husband is always, your praise don't start again. Or a son that is receiving treatment, the father could begin to abuse him with, when I see your mind don't start again, I'll carry you to sin, I'll carry you back to the mental health ward. And this is stigma. This is discrimination. Open dialogue and awareness are crucial in promoting mental health and well-being. They will reduce stigma, encourage help seeking, prevent isolation, promote resilience, the capacity to bounce back from a fall. It will improve relationships. It will increase a sense of community. And open dialogue will drive policy changes to improve mental health services. We mean by open dialogue that we should be willing to talk about our mental health issues as much as we sometimes glory in talking about, how my children, they had to carry me to India, and little wonder at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, which is an hospital wholly dedicated to the care of the mentally ill, there is no mortuary. Do you think no deaths occur in that place? No one ever says, our father passed on to sin. My involvement and contribution to dance movement therapy as a treatment modality. I was introduced to dance and movement therapy by Professor Kingsley, a foremost choreographer, and subsequently had the privilege of co-supervising a Master of Arts student with Professor Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe of the Theatre Arts Department. Ms. Awelei's thesis was dance as an instrument of social rehabilitation and experiment with some inpatients at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. During my sabbatical leave at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in 2017, both of us ran therapy sessions for patients in the addictions unit of the hospital. Ms. Aweilei, who is presently working on her PhD, is researching Olokun ritual dance as therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. For her PhD, and I'm supervising with Professor Oalei. Those are sessions held at the teaching hospital, Benin City. Celebrating World Mental Health Day. I have been a member of the World Federation for Mental Health, an organization committed to advocating for and advancing the cause of mental health on a global scale since the year 2006. October 10th serves as a powerful platform to raise awareness about mental health issues, challenge stigmas, and promote the importance of mental well-being. From the Department of Mental Health at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, I promoted mental health awareness in the academic and healthcare community. This led to a partnership with the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, combining mental health care expertise and resources. And this lecture, Kolomental, and the elephant in the room, our mental health, stands as a testament to the unwavering passion and dedication that have fueled my advocacy for mental health awareness over the years. This was Dr. Ware and yours sincerely addressing hundreds of students at the Advocacy High School in 2017. The theme that year was workplace and mental health in the workplace. This year, the theme is mental health is a universal human right. Acknowledgement. To begin with, let me say that I fully acknowledge that putting together this session was the most challenging. The reason for this is that I owe gratitude to such a large number of people for the opportunities that have been presented to me that I'm unable to decide which names to highlight in this context. My dear parents of blessed memory, Brother, my eldest brother, all my siblings, my dear in-laws from Ibebre and Mosaka, my teachers and brothers, my beloved brethren and fellow pilgrims, especially ministers and members of Church of God Mission International, my patrons in the past and in the now, my benefactors, my colleagues at work, doctors, nurses, and all healthcare workers, my colleagues in the university, teaching and non-teaching staff, my colleagues at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Cebu, my Africa and all compatriots, past and present men, staff of Camel and Sharon Limited, my former classmates. The list is endless. Because of this, I have decided to write their names in the hidden part of my heart. With a prayer, asking the Sovereign Lord to bestow a unique blessing on each of these illustrious individuals. Your unflinching support and contributions have been extremely helpful, and I cannot express how grateful I am to each of you for the roles you have played in guiding me through this. In the book, you will find some specific names that I was constrained to list. Recommendations for individuals: educate yourself and others about mental health to reduce stigma. Seek help early if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues. Support friends and families in their mental health journeys. For institutions, healthcare, education, and workplaces, implement mental health awareness programs and training. Provide access to mental health resources and counseling services. For the Nigerian government, allocate more resources to mental health care, including facilities, professionals, and research. Establish a national mental health strategies to address the full spectrum of mental health issues. Seek help early if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues. There is a Department of Mental Health at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Cebu, and the Inaugural, are specially dedicated to management of mental health problems. The Students' Guidance and Counseling Center in the university is well-staffed and open to students across the faculties. And the University Health Center is open 24/7 to offer help and initiate reference. In conclusion, this lecture has highlighted the importance of addressing mental health issues in Nigeria, focusing on Kolomental as a symptom of psychotic mental illness and the often overlooked elephant in the room, non-psychotic psychiatric disorders. You and I, we cannot ignore mental health. There are inequalities and create a society that values physical and emotional well-being and empathy for all. I thank you for this.
Professor Akhigbe has really done and has really exposed us and our knowledge has put our knowledge. So this is titled Kolomental and the Elephant in the Room, our mental health. We are in this lecture that actually made us aware of the mental health issues that are available in our society. And this is a brief synopsis. What is said? Kolomental and the elephant in the room, our mental health. In this thought-provoking presentation entitled Kolomental and the elephant in the room, our mental health, Mr.
speaker undertakes the essential endeavor of educating the frequently disregarded and stigmatized subject of mental health. This lecture explores the intersection of art, culture, and professional understanding to examine mental health concepts and needs. His primary objective is to promote awareness and confront the prevailing stigma surrounding these illnesses. Unmasking Kolomental. The lecture starts by presenting the notion of Kolomental, which serves as a symbolic representation of persons contending with profound psychotic mental disorders. This analysis delves into the profoundly resonant composition Kolomental by Phase 2006 and the literary work Everybody Does Kolomental by Akhigbe in 2021. The elephant in the room. The primary subject of the talk is the metaphorical concept of the elephant in the room, which symbolizes the prevalent inclination to evade conversations about mental health concepts. This metaphor serves to move further into the examination of non-psychotic mental disorders that frequently remain hidden inside the societal framework. These illnesses are often overlooked, unidentified, and mistreated, leading to a covert pandemic, a call for action. This lecture calls for an end to mental health stigma and silence, promoting free communication and acknowledging mental health as vital for human happiness. It challenges stigma and prejudices, encouraging empathy and understanding true narratives, art and professional insights. The lecture encourages open discourse and encourages participation from individuals, families, communities, and healthcare systems. Ladies and gentlemen, we will agree that he has really done it and has exposed the knowledge to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not mind, please can we just stand up and give him a round of applause?
Vice Chancellor will now coordinate the inaugural lecturer. Please, I now invite members of our lecturers for today to please come off stage immediately. Family members, immediate family members of our inaugural lecturer, please come off stage quickly. Today, please celebrate Professor Mrs. Kingsley Oalei Akhigbe. We also have the daughter here, Dr. Mrs. Lulu Bobo. The son, Dr. Benny Akhigbe. Please put your hands together to celebrate them. His grandchildren are also here. Ogone Fejiro Bobo and Ogone Rieno Bobo, the grandchildren. Please celebrate them. Thank you. We'd like to make welcome very specially Professor Stanley Okubo, SIMA, representing CND, University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. We welcome you, sir. We also like to welcome Dr. Isa, representing the Medical Director, Psychiatric Hospital, Benin City. Please put your hands together to celebrate her. We welcome you. We also welcome you, Professor Baswaye Godwin Musaka, CMD, Inaugural Teaching Hospital, Okada. We welcome you, sir. We also like to welcome our very own Professor Aki Ibadan, former Vice Chancellor of FUPRI. We welcome you, sir. We welcome our own Professor Emeritus and Professor Mrs. Aro Fuegu. Welcome, sir and ma. Please put your hands together to celebrate them. We also welcome you, Professor Emeritus and Professor Mrs. Chioke Awudu. We welcome you. Professor Emeritus and Mrs. Raymond Eliho. We welcome you, sir and ma'am. Please celebrate them. It's okay to put your hands together. Thank you. We welcome very specially Professor Emeritus John O. Igene. We welcome you. We also welcome Dr. Fred O. Ofomina. Ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate the center leader, Sierra, University of Benin, Professor Friday Okonofor. We also welcome a former Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration here at the University of Benin, Engineer Xavier Jacob Odek Eyobo. We welcome you, sir. We also welcome former Deputy Vice Chancellor at Kema Campus, Professor Oje Abolagba. We also welcome our very own former Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Mrs. Adesua Usahon. We also welcome Dr. Ruben Usahon. We welcome you also Colonel Dr. Raymond Usawere. We also welcome you Professor Ademola Adeyeku. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. Thank you. Also, let us receive and celebrate the former Provost, College of Medical Sciences, University of Benin, Professor Bishop Vincent Iyawe. We welcome very specially Venerable David Osazen Ibelusi, Chaplain All Saints Chapel, University of Benin. We also welcome Professor Faustina Idu. We welcome Professor Victor J. Ikanem. We welcome you, Professor Jennifer Ebeibe. You're very much welcome, Professor David Osifo. We welcome you, Professor Mrs. Henrietta Obo. Please put your hands together to celebrate these persons. Thank you. We also welcome you very specially, Professor Clement Osime. You're welcome. We also welcome you, Professor Patrick Owatia. We welcome Professor Peter Ibeibe. We welcome you, Professor Mrs. Evelyn Uduibe. You're also welcome, Professor G.U. Emelwe. We welcome Professor Chibudu Ohanaka. Please put your hands together to celebrate this person. We also welcome you very specially, Professor Chiuba Okafo. We also welcome Professor Ken Halim. We welcome you also Architect Mrs. Monica Irirobe. We welcome you also Professor Alfred Ehikieba, Past President, University of Benin Alumni Association. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. We also welcome you, Dr. M.I. Okonofor, who was also a past president of the University of Benin Alumni Association. Please put your hands together for the Uniben Elder Statesmen. We welcome you also, Professor McDonald Idu. We welcome Professor Adeshina Oladimubo. We also welcome Evangelist Mrs. Dora Ohiwere. Please let's celebrate them. We welcome you, Mr. Dan Aibagwa. We welcome Professor Martins ICN. We welcome you, Pastor Chris Abot. We welcome Professor Dominic Usagai. I'd like you to celebrate yourselves, all members of CGMI 06 headquarters. We welcome you very specially. We also welcome specially all staff and students of Department of Mental Health, University of Benin. Please celebrate yourselves. And to all the Aura and Afterlife people here present, we welcome you specially and we thank you for coming. And this is how we close the 293rd inaugural lecture in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. Please let's be upstanding for the second stanza of the national anthem and thereafter of the